Okay, so welcome to chapter 5 of contraception, planning and prevention. And before we start the slideshow, I just wanted to give you a couple of facts. So in 2000, let me see here, there we go. In 2011, 45% of all pregnancies in the United States were unintended. In the United States, a well-developed country, right? Supposedly, 45% were unintended pregnancies per women aged 15 to 44. Much higher rate than most developed countries. And of course, the majority of that, unfortunately, is people that live below the poverty level. And then just in California alone, right, for adolescents, right, in California, the national rate is 44 per thousand women ages 15 to 19, right? So 44 out of 1,000 women, 15 to 19 had unintended pregnancies, right? A small percentage. 75% of adolescent pregnancies in the United States are unintended, and adolescents account for 15% of all unintended pregnancies every year. In California, 42% of unintended pregnancies in California resulted in births, 45% in abortions, and the remainder resulted in miscarriages. So just that. So here we are, right? And so worldwide in 2012, at any way, right? Western Africa actually had the lowest percentage of unintended pregnancies at 26%. The Caribbean area had the highest at 64% of their pregnancies were unintended. And in North America, which is Mexico, New York, United States, and Canada, the rate is 51%. 51% of the pregnancies in what is supposedly one of the most modern nations in the world, with contraception methods available of all types, and even through almost all socioeconomic levels, anybody can get free birth control if they need it, right? We do know that Planned Parenthood and programs such as that return $7 on every dollar, because unwanted pregnancies, of course, cost money. Pregnancies cost money. Children cost money. You'll find out that later. Anyway, so here we are, right? 50%, 65%, 40%, crazy numbers of people that when contraception is such a varied supply, which we're going to learn about, and so easily accessible in most places. Anyway, just something to think about, because many of you, there's a percentage that some of you will have an unintended pregnancy at some point in your life. So here we go. I'm going to find this. There we go. All right, contraception and prevention, planning and prevention. As I said, a wide variety of contraceptive methods are available. So what we want to learn is how do you, as a couple, consider how do you talk to your partner? What are you doing? What are you doing to prevent both pregnancies and sexually transmitted infections? Hmm? What works for you and what doesn't? Hmm? How do you know, learn what how the effective rate of each type of contraceptive? What the pros and cons are for each one, right? And abortion is not contraception, right? So the only 100% guaranteed contraceptive is abstinence, which I think we've discussed before, is not really a viable option for most people. However, there are plenty. So this is like an historical look, right? You're going to read about this. There was a time when people weren't allowed to do that. Some religions still frown upon the use of things. And it's always a political question, right? Abortion is still a hot topic. So how do you choose? Do you choose as a couple? Before you're a couple, you have premarital sex of some time, you have shared, you have sexual experiences outside of a real relationship. How does that play into the decision-making process? So here's the unreliable methods, right? Douching with Coca-Cola is standing up during intercourse, plastic wrap in place of condoms, toothpaste is not a spermicide, and you can get pregnant at any time during intercourse, first time or last time. Selective abstinence, right, is not celibacy, but you can choose to be abstinent during your most fertile times if you're a woman, right? Condoms are very effective when used correctly, but often not used correctly. If some of you may have taken a class actually where they teach you how to use a condom. So, all right, so, and then of course there is now a female condom, right? So, and here is that, and it works the same way as a male condom. The same materials, the same process of capturing all the sperm. Then there's oral contraceptives, birth control pills, and just like everything else, it has pros and cons, right? You'll learn, right? And then, there's the ones you take daily, stuff you take once every couple of months. All different brands and formulas, all different methods. Implants is another way that regulate and control the hormones in your body. And here is one sample. It's implanted in the arm. And they last longer, of course, and you don't have to do this as much as the pill. There's injection methods that work, right? A patch. All of these interventions, medical interventions, interfere with the woman's cycles, fertility cycles, right? You need to realize that. The ring, same thing. It controls the hormones. It changes the hormonal flow that the female body would normally have. And then there's the morning after pill. If you've had unprotected sex, you get up the next day, you can take a pill to avoid any possible pregnancy. Plan B, right? It's not a birth control. This is after the fact. The diaphragm is a condom type material thing that covers the female part and does not allow sperm to flow into the uterus. And holds a contraceptive gel. You use this every time, right? You're gonna read about it, but you use this every time you have sex. You have to take it in and put it out. Cervical cap, same idea of covering, keeping the sperm blocked. There's a picture of that. So diaphragms, sponges, spermicides do not prevent sexually transmitted infections, which is another reason condoms are very effective at. Tracking your cycle is a possible way, but you know, any miscalculation could end up in an unattended pregnancy. Here's a look at how the menstrual cycle works and your fertility chances, right? This, you know, this again is a cycle method that looks at a woman being totally aware of her body and still taking a chance. And so very, very iffy. You know, you got to be really, really paying attention to your body and be totally aware of your body for this to really work, right? Same thing. Here's about all these methods, and again, none of these methods help with the transmission of the sexually transmitted infections. IUDs, same. These were gone for a while and now are back as an option. There were some issues, and you'll read about that in the book. Then, of course, you could be sterilized, right? There's tubal ligation. And of course, some females, of course, have health issues that require operations that remove the chance of pregnancy. So you cut the tubes, you stop the eggs from flowing, etc. Then, of course, in men, there's a vasectomy. It is not 100%, it's very close, but it's not 100%. And it can be reversed if you would prefer that. And now I understand there's very effective ways, much more effective ways to do it than it used to be. So they're talking about some interventions for men that would work like they do on women, interrupting their ability to create sperm, etc. And then, of course, spermicide gels. And then here we are at abortion, right? Which is, like I said in the beginning, still a hot political topic. Very difficult choices for a lot of women. Culturally, religion, like all different things come into play trying to make a decision like this. And as I said in the beginning, right, 45%, I think, 45% result of the unattended pregnancies resulted in abortion in California. And that's it. Stop sharing. So that's it about contraceptives, something very important, I think, for you to understand and make a choice about. Otherwise, you end up in the unattended category. And of course, that's always up to you. But certainly discussion with this, if with your parents, with your peer, with your partner, are invaluable. Because let me tell you, the cost of raising a child is more than you can imagine right now, right? Like, to raise a child, I forget the exact numbers now, but it's close to $1 million in order to raise a child. And if you send them to college, then that price goes up. Or ask your parents, or if you have a child already, All right, so that's it for chapter 5. We will move on next to chapter 6. Thank you.